If you want to publish a book, but you feel stuck, out of time, and you don't know what to do next, then it's time to finish the damn book. Here's your host, Susie Schafer.
Welcome to this episode of Finish the Damn Book. I'm your host, Susie Schafer. I have two very special guests today, best-selling co-authors of Midlife Upgrade, A Girlfriend's Guide to Finding Your Power in the Pause. Julie Fedeli is a devoted mother and a fierce advocate for women, an inspirational entrepreneur, mentor, certified health and longevity coach, speaker, and author. Julie offers individual consulting for women longing for holistic and well-being and insightful, comprehensive support for their midlife journeys, both formally in hosting large-scale women events and informally as a maven in her community. Julie creates intentional space for women to gather in service of their highest potential. She loves delicious food, traveling to beautiful and exotic places, incredible art and music, swimming daily, and all the wonderful people in her life. Pamela DeRose, MBA, wife and mother, tapped into the entrepreneurial drive early, but it was her own midlife crisis that sparked her true purpose, guiding women to harness their own interior wisdom during those chaotic years. She provides practical tools to empower women to live their healthiest, most vibrant and authentic lives through the midlife transition and beyond. When not speaking or counseling clients, you will find her hosting family gatherings with amazing food and going for long strolls with her dear husband and rescue pup, Stella. Pamela holds space for women ready to write their next chapter. Welcome.
Thank you, Susie.
We just think the world of you, Susie.
So thank you so much. You're going to make me blush. So
So
let's dive right in. What specifically was frustrating or emotionally challenging for you when you wrote and published your book?
Well, first of all, we're first-time authors, and we didn't start writing the book together. What we did was we divvied up chapters where we tended to hold our own expertise. So it was challenging that we each wrote and then got together to see what we had written and realized we had to go back and basically rewrite everything so that the book would be in both of our voices and so that it would flow more organically.
You know, when Pam and I were reviewing your questions earlier today, Pam said, "How much time do you have?"
Right.
for us to discuss it?" Because we have said, and we will continue to say, that when you choose to write a book titled Midlife Upgrade, prepare yourself for midlife upgrade. So both of us went through a lot of challenges on all levels as we were writing the book. And so we are very well prepared now to speak about the midlife upgrade. We were before, but now I think we have a much deeper understanding.
And I would say a lot more empathy for our readers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big because, you know, a lot of authors don't realize that they embark on their own personal journey when they're writing their book. And so I love the idea of the two of you writing it separately, doing your own work, and then coming together and saying, oh, wow, let's look at this and let's work through this, because I think that's where the real growth happens.
Yes. And there were, our chapters cover all the different stages of midlife.
Right.
So Pam is a divine chef, raw food chef, organic chef, and she loves to entertain. So that was primarily her chapter, but yet I contributed some to that, right? So, and we actually, like Pam said, we really had to find our mutual voice along with our individual voices. So on a practical level, but on a personal level, we went through it. We call it the fire swamp.
Yeah.
The fire swamp. How did you come up with that phrase?
The Princess Bride. Did you ever see that?
Yes. Yeah, I love that. That's perfect. Now, the book also has illustrations in it. Do you want to talk a little bit about the illustrations and who you used, how you came up with that? I think it's fascinating too.
Well, we know from, counseling and coaching so many women, most women are actually very unaware of their own bodies, what their, can I say the word pussy? What the pussy, but even their internal organs, like where your uterus is and where your ovaries and fallopian tubes. A lot of women are actually very ignorant when it comes to that. So we felt it was important to include a visual so women would know what we're talking about.
Yeah. And Pam has a beautiful daughter-in-law, stepdaughter, who has a few brilliant friends. And one of the brilliant friends, actually, this is her profession,
Correct.
doing anatomical drawings. And so
Actually, like medical.
Yes, exactly.
Medical.
And so we asked her to do that and include flowers around it. And they're exquisite. They're really exquisite. So that was, another really good fortune that we were able to find somebody who really understood we were looking for, and then also to offer them to the book. And it's true, women, my mom actually opened the book the other day to someone I don't know who was visiting her, but she's like, and she had endometriosis, this woman. She told my mother she was having pain in her lower abdomen. She didn't really even know where her ovaries were. And my mom was like, hold on, let's open the book. And she opened the book and showed her own anatomy. I mean, sex ed, we didn't get that.
No.
It was about how to prevent pregnancy, not how to love your own body.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so true. And I have to say, the illustrations are so beautiful, even though they're anatomically correct. It's very artistic, and so it's not weird or offensive or anything like that. It's just, I was like, these are beautiful. I love that you added flowers, because on the cover of your book, you have these beautiful peonies. And so it just resonates that the whole thing is about celebrating the divine feminine and us being in touch with our bodies as we go through our middle years.
Oh, yes, yes. I think I could say this, but we were thinking that the book actually might be a little bit banned because of those beautiful drawings. And Pam and I were thinking that would be really good PR, actually. So that didn't happen, and we're happy about that.
Yes, we're very happy that the book didn't get banned. And quite frankly, I don't see how it could be, because it's like I said, it's anatomically correct, but it's a guide. So you can't say it's not real, because it is. It's
Yeah.
who you are. Yeah.
And
So,
if anything were to happen, Susie, we know you would have made everything right, which is what you do all the time. So we were very confident that everything would be okay no matter what.
yeah, I'll deal with the problems on the back end. We know about that. So. So what changed for you during your author journeys? Like, for each of you, did you have any aha moments? Were there things that you just was like an epiphany?
That's a great question. We were pondering this earlier. I mean, I would say we definitely went on a journey writing this book. It opened our worlds to more knowledge than we thought we knew a lot until we really got into this. And then we dug even deeper and learned not only a lot about ourselves, but about some of the journeys our clients had been going through. And we've been able to connect with some of the top practitioners in this space, where we have just gained an incredible amount of wisdom.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's really top of mind for us is, again, how many women are unfamiliar with their anatomy. And then during midlife, the things that actually occur that are not just hormonal imbalances, that are really things that happen physically, right? And so, as Pam said earlier, we did a lot of research, and we already knew a lot. And then there was the gift of being connected to all of these leaders in the menopause space, and just feeling that has been wonderful for us. We feel so lucky to have been at the right place at the right time, for sure. That has been a total gift. We've also, we were talking about this earlier. It was like we got married before we really knew each other. Like we were friends for 10 years for sure. We had deep respect and love for each other, but we didn't hang out. And we now spend more time with each other than Pam's husband is fabulous, but probably more time than she even spends with, unless he makes it up on the weekends. So like we had to learn how to work together and also blend our voice, blend our intentions. We were definitely on the same, no pun intended, same page for the book, and what we wanted to create. But that too was a journey. And now we're totally, it's been 3 years, we're totally in sync, and we balance each other really well, very yin yang. But that too was its own, own experience.
And the other thing I would say when writing a book, especially like this, because we share so much of our own stories, I think both of us had to get really comfortable with vulnerability.
Yes.
Yes. And I think that what you've done is something so different. I feel like this is going to be the menopause book for the future. But and in that respect, I also see that it's important, your journey, you sharing that with other women, in that it is important for us to have those deeper relationships with women, because even if you're married or you're single or whatever, you still have to have connection to somebody that understands what you go through in the middle parts of your life, especially when you become empty nesters and you no longer have kids that you're attending to, those kinds of things. So there's a whole lot of different things that I feel like this book really kind of addresses for women in a general sense.
Yeah, yeah, we hope so. That was what we wanted to offer for sure. So yes.
So let's talk a little bit about what you do as far as your coaching services. How do you work with women?
So we have a couple of different options. We are actually about to launch an online course, which would be self-guided, but we also do one-on-one counseling as well. And here's the thing with coaching, it's never one thing. It's never just the diet. It's never just the sleep. You know, it's usually a combination of things. Your lifestyle, who you surround yourself with, your spirituality. So, you know, we try to bring a holistic approach to our coaching.
Yeah. And, you know, the other thing really is, I think at this time, midlife is really a portal. I mean, we really saw that. We lived that, even though both of us had done deep work in the health and wellness field for 35 years. So now we really sit here and would like to be really guides through this process for women. And perimenopause really starts for a lot of women at 35. And a lot of younger women, even in their 20s, are reading our book so that they actually understand, because they're a little more awake and conscious, right? They want to know what this journey is like. So Pam and I really, you know, want to sit here and support women in seeing midlife as an opportunity for really great stuff on the other side of the portal, and to support women in looking more deeply into themselves and creating beautiful lives for themselves, you know, no matter what their initial intention is. You know, it might be like, wow, I have midlife weight gain, or I'm not happy in my marriage. All of those places are opportunities.
Or I'm alone, or I'm crying, or I'm angry. And, you know, we want to help, you know, normalize that happens, you know, but also give them some support and guidance.
And I think it's great that you're talking about this, that, you know, perimenopause, like starting at 35, because I can remember when I went through it and I was kind of like, I didn't know what was happening to my body. I was like, what's going on, right? My perspectives changed, my spirituality changed, a lot of that was happening. And it was early for me too. And so, and I think, you know, some of that could be attributed to the fact that I didn't have children, but at the same time, if I had had something that had said, okay, this is what you can prepare for, right? Then it would have been a little bit easier, instead of me just thinking, I don't know what's going on, you know? So I love that you address those issues and that younger women are reading the book, because I think that is going to help them be able to be more proactive, but also understand the journey.
You know, were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, well, you know, like we mentioned, I have a couple of stepdaughters who are like, wait, this is what happens? No,
right.
This.
Well, and what I was going to say is also on that, like perimenopause. I mean, Pam and I have, like I've said, we've been in this for 30 years. We just, like, perimenopause was not even part of our vocabulary until really a couple, like,
I didn't learn about perimenopause until I was in the hospital with what I thought were chest pains, not knowing that they're heart palpitations. I'm the person who had the whole, you know, workup. I did an angiogram. I did the thing where you're running on a treadmill, looking at your heart, only to find out I have the heart of an athlete. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me until a female cardiologist came in and said, you are probably in perimenopause. And I was like, what's that?
right.
Wow.
And I didn't have any, my cycles were regular. Other than the chest, you know, palpitations, I felt completely normal.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing. Yes.
And there are millions of stories.
There are millions of stories. Yes, we hear them all the time.
So what has changed for the two of you since you've published your book now?
I think one of the things that I'm going to speak for both of us, the outpouring of love we have received oh my God, it's overwhelming. I could almost cry. So many people have reached out and said, thank you. This is what I needed. I mean, our social media following has gone up dramatically.
Yeah, I think also, I mean, it's with your support, it's been really amazing to be
Mhm.
best-selling authors,
Mm.
I think that we held that intention for 3 years, that this book would be a transmission and an offering, and we'd be of service to women. And we also were kind of playing like we want to be best-selling authors, whatever that means, and I think that it's also, it's really wonderful to have it out in the world after working on it for 3 years.
Mhm.
And we were working on the book. We were also working on ourselves and also working on our lives. And
Mhm.
so I think also that it really lets women know what's possible. That even though that you can be having this experience in the background and going through menopausal changes, that you can actually create something and really pivot. Both of us really pivoted what we were formerly doing and created something that's really bringing value to the world. And I think it's pretty cool that, a woman could read a couple pages and be like, whoa, that's it, man. My mind is blown. My heart is blown. I feel somebody understands me. We've gotten incredible feedback and response from the book, about after women have read it. So it's just been,
Women and men.
yeah,
We have had men reach out to us as well, which Yahoo, let's include men in the conversation.
absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
And you've had an incredible number of really earth-shattering testimonials about this book. We were able to put some of them on the cover, but really the advanced praise about this book coming from well-known doctors and people in the medical field that really had something to say is amazing.
Oh, we've been so blessed and overwhelmed. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was totally magical too. Like we had sort of a dream that we would
Yeah.
have these endorsements from these women, but we were like, we had been in proximity with them a couple of times, but they didn't know who we are. And everyone has been so generous. And I think that's what really has been such an additional gift for us. I mean, you, Susie, were just amazing with us, and all of these women who are supporting each other at midlife. It's a very powerful movement. So they were very generous. I mean, again, we became better friends with all of them before they endorsed the book.
Yeah.
But still, we're not part of that. We're not these brilliant physicians who have gone through med school and delivered 10,000 babies. And, some of these women are so incredibly, all of them accomplished.
Very much
So we just felt like,
just to be in their presence is a gift.
so we just felt very, very honored and fortunate. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the cover. Okay, when I first saw the cover, I was like, wow, it's so gorgeous. Now, shout out to your son who created the cover image, and then Claudine Mansour with Mansour Designs did the overall cover. But what was the inspiration, and how did you get your son involved?
That's so interesting, because we did not give him any guidelines whatsoever. Like, we did not say to him, unless I'm forgetful,
No, I
my
don't think we
midlife
did.
brain.
I don't think we did.
He was like, Mama, and he will never watch this, so we can say whatever we want. But, like, he was like, Mama, yeah, sure, I'll design the cover for you, and I was like, great. And he's an investment banker. He is not an artist, right? But he is an artist. So anyway, he came up with those gorgeous peonies, spent a small fortune on Adobe or something, buying that image so we can use it for a lifetime, whatever we want. And he picked the font and he put it on a black background. And we got feedback actually from people that were like, you shouldn't do that. Maybe midlife is seen as dark, and all the other menopause books are ivory with pink. Don't you guys want to? And Pam and I were like,
no, we had someone give us some book covers, and it literally looked like grandma wallpaper, Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
this is
not how we roll.
And the thing is, both of us are kind of edgy, like edgy in our own way, and we kind of have never been following the crowd our whole lives. We've kind of always been outliers. So the book and the response to the cover has been tremendous,
unbelievable.
Because it doesn't look like other menopause books, and it really is those peonies. Peonies are in China, they're a symbol of good fortune, which I found out later. So it's very appropriate.
Do you have a copy of the book right there with you?
I can run and get one.
I think you should, just because we need to show our viewers, those that are watching the podcast, and they can actually see it. I want to make sure that they see that cover because it's just magnificent. So yeah, that's awesome. Yep, there you go. Midlife Upgrade. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Wow. I love it. So let's talk a little bit about the spiritual or faith-based experiences that you've had that you can attribute to writing and publishing your book.
Well, certainly I think both of us, again, feel very, very fortunate. And I will say this, I think both of us have done enough work on ourselves that we somehow were able to get into the flow. And even though we're working very hard to create this new business in many ways, there has been so much grace, and so much, as we've said, really fortunate experiences and so much support that we kind of just are very in a female space a lot of the time. Like, how do you feel about this? What do you want to, what's the next step? And even though we're linear, we really have followed our intuition. The cover of the book, for example.
Right.
Let's give a shout out to Pam, because she is the one who came up with Midlife Upgrade. We trademarked it instantly, grabbed all the domain and all of the social, and everybody loves that Midlife Upgrade. Nobody's ever heard of that, right? So yeah, so that and also the tagline. So she's a genius and all that. So
well done. And you can see a little bit of the Chicago skyline behind you. My hope is that someone from one of the Chicago morning shows listens to this podcast and calls you up to say, hey, get on my show. We need to talk about menopause.
We would love that.
Yeah, we're concepting that right now. My sister knows some people and we know some people. So that's our next big wish. So all in perfect time.
We've been very fortunate in that we ask and the universe delivers. It's really cool that people have dropped in to help guide us on this journey.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier your intuition. Where has your intuition played a part in this? And then were there times that you didn't listen to your intuition, and what happened?
Oh, that's a good question. But I would say both of us are actually pretty good at listening to our intuition. And, writing something like this and then trying to get some of the endorsements that we got, it was a lot of being in the right place at the right time and trusting that the universe is going to drop in what we need. So, I'm an MBA. I've written business plans for every business I've had or been a part of. This one, we wrote a business plan. We are not following the business plan. This has been a journey like no other. It is like following, Julie always says, it's like following the golden nuggets. We think we have, our plan dialed in, and then something drops in that's even better than what we could have imagined. So there is a great deal of trusting our intuition that the right things are going to happen at the right time. And we just stay very focused on our why and what our mission is.
Yeah, that is so true. And I think the midlife menopause movement is, we happened to get into the river when it had just started. And so, it has its own life, really. And, today they are speaking to the FDA about taking the black box warning off of vaginal estrogen. You can Google that. We don't need to go into it here, but that's a really big deal for menopausal women. And testosterone therapy actually being FDA approved for women. Both Pam and I have actually used very female dose testosterone. Has helped both of us with our cognitive functioning. Big time, big time. and there are our friends are there in Washington doing that today. So there's just a lot happening that they too are very surprised by, right? Like they're just showing up also, you know, and so we're showing up. They call, we call them, you know, we just keep advocating for women. That's basically what we're doing.
Awesome. Now, speaking of golden nuggets, and I think that those golden nuggets showed up for you guys because, like, truly, it's because you were at that vibration. You leveled up. You've got a mission together that you're, you know, and honestly, when we're trying to manifest things into our lives, when you have a partner who is working on that with you, it actually helps so much more because you've got. It's like the power of double, right? It's, you know, so let's pull a few cards and let's see what the universe wants to share with our listeners based on our conversation and our topic today. I just think it's so cool that you guys really used your intuition and manifested everything that you wanted to happen. And even though you had a business plan, say, hey, we got to follow this instead. So interesting. We have a 12 card, which 12 reduces to 3. 1 plus 2 is 3. This one is a change in the wind. So this is actually showing you that the zebra, very unique, but stable because he's got 4 legs. It's saying there are changes coming. So be ready to face that. You'll notice that it's very hard to see on this card, but she's standing in a tower and she's facing into the wind. And at the top, there's a weather vane. The weather vane is showing her north. So she's facing into the wind. She's head on. And that north means that she's in her north node. Your north node is your mission and purpose in this lifetime. So she says, okay, bring it. Bring it. I know there's going to be changes coming in, but I'm ready for it. I'm going to face it head on, right? The next one is a 15 card. Now, 1 plus 5 is a 6. So 6 is the number about love. 3 on this previous card is also the number of being the teacher, but also maybe some new starts. And then, of course, when you get to 6, the things are going to be changing. Message in a bottle. So this is saying that there is a message that is coming in. There's a little tiny telephone inside this bottle. So for the listeners out there, be ready to receive some type of message by telephone or text message. It's something that you've been looking for. The pelican here has a spyglass. So it's something that he's been looking for, but he's wearing a blindfold. So he's been blind to be able to see what it is he's really, truly looking for. When this message comes in, you notice that the water is very deep. So this means it will have very deep emotion. Water represents emotion, but the water is not churned up. So it's not like it's a negative thing. This message in the bottle is going to be something positive and something you've been looking for. This is really about intuition, listening for the signs and the things that are going to come through to help you find your way. And lastly, we have a 41 card. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 is the number of change. So you go from a 3 and you've got a 6 and you've got a 5. So this really tells me that our listeners are on the upward swing, but really this to me is the representation of the two of you in your relationship because it's soulmates. So this says, you know, you see each other as connected, being like one holds the key to the other's heart. One is the superhero of the team. This is how you operate from a place of love in order to bring in the messages of abundance and things that are coming your way and allowing the change to happen because change is inevitable, right? So this is really beautiful that we got these 3 cards. So yeah, I hope that message resonates for our listeners today. And yeah, brings them some kind of blessing that's coming. So is there anything else that the two of you would like to add?
Yeah, you are
You're
fabulous.
amazing. Yes.
We're
Yes,
having
yes,
telepathy.
yeah.
You are amazing.
Yes.
Thank you.
helped us so much. You know our story, but we struggled getting this book out into the world. It gets into your hands, and within like a couple weeks, we're up and out. Like it was
Somebody
right.
actually said that to me yesterday. They're
Mhm.
like, it took you guys so long. So what happened that it then? And I said, it got into the hands of 2 amazing women,
Mhm.
one being you and one being Claudine
Mhm.
Mansour, who did the interiors.
Mhm.
But you took it across the finish line, you
Mhm.
know? So it's just like, I was like, it was just the perfect time and they were the perfect women. And we've already referred people to you who I
Thank
don't
you.
know all of a sudden 2 people Saturday and Sunday came into our lives who have written books that have amazing titles, I think. And so I was like, okay. And I just like, we would be on Times Square with a billboard for you, Susie.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Well, honestly, that's kind of my role, is when people get to the place where they've got their book finished. I mean, finish the book publishing. That's why I call it. And it's Finish the Damn Book podcast. But really, they get to that point and then they don't know the next steps. And so that's really my role, is to go ahead and say, let's get this book to the finish line. Let's work through issues on the back end with Ingram, KDP, anything else that we've got. You and I, we talked about some of the stuff that was going on in the background that, there's always going to be something, right? And that's really my job, is to say, let's figure this out, because I don't expect that you or any author I work with would ever understand what those things are. And because I deal with them time and time again, that we can work through those, whether it's a legal issue, whether it's a technology issue, whatever it is, we're going to work through them. We're going to figure it out. So that's my role.
You do
You do
it,
a great
babe.
job.
Yep, for sure. 100%, 1,000,000,000%.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on your book. Any final words?
Buy the book.
Yeah. Oh, buy the book is right.
Buy the book.
Follow us on at
We Are Midlife Upgrade on Instagram.
Yep.
It's the best way to find
Yep,
us.
yep.
We host amazing events, and we're here to support all midlife women.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You can buy the book on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And I think it's fantastic. Congratulations. You guys are doing amazing work, and keep watching their website for when that coaching program comes out online. Well, I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, we'll post it on social too. So thank you so much,
Thank
Susie.
you, Susie.
We love you. So thank
We-
you.
Well, I love you too. So thanks for being here today. And if you found this interesting, I encourage you to join me for the next episode, and be sure to subscribe. Every week, one lucky listener who subscribes and posts a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes will be entered to win the grand prize, a private VIP day with me, valued at $25,000. So be sure to subscribe and post a review. And until then, keep on writing so you can finish the damn book. We'll see you next time.
So that's it for today's episode of Finish the Damn Book. Head on over to wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe to the show. One lucky listener every single week that posts a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes will win a chance in the grand prize drawing to win a $25,000 value private VIP day with Susie Schafer herself. Head on over to finishthedamnbookpodcast.com and pick up a free copy of Susie's gift. And join us on the next episode.